Hey, what's up guys, it's Fish here and welcome back to another epic online battle. Today we are playing on Medieval Kingdoms 1212. I am playing as Epirus, one of my favourite factions in this really cool sandstorm in the desert. I absolutely love this weather type because you can barely see like 2 foot in front of you. You can't see the enemy army, and when you zoom all the way in, it gets really dark and eerie, and again, like, you can barely see in front of you. It's awesome. My opponent today will be Havoc. He is playing as Jerusalem and Cyprus. Again, one of the best looking factions in the games, hands down. These dudes, these dismounted Templar Knights just look absolutely spectacular. I know I say it every single time, but they really do. They look so cool. Definitely a very nice faction. So we'll run through the army comps and then we'll just jump straight into this awesome battle. We do have a fair amount of units on this fight as well. Well, I guess it's not actually too much compared to it. We have 6,000 men fighting, which I guess is a decent amount, but, you know, nowhere near the 15k or something we normally have. So yeah, on my front line, I have 5 or 6 units of these heavy archers. Now, Havoc plays very different to a lot of other YouTubers. Havoc goes for a very heavy skirmish component. He goes with a lot of archers, a lot of gunners, a lot of horse archers, and cavalry. He wants to kind of skirmish you down, whereas a lot of other YouTubers just go for heavy infantry and just want a massive clash in the middle. So because of that, I've kind of had to vary up my army a little bit, and definitely when I play him again, I will make sure to kind of vary up my army even more against his playstyle, because as I said, he plays very different to other YouTubers. So on my front line, I have 5 units of these heavy archers. They're going to be pretty decent in melee combat, as well as, you know, as an archer force to pin down his own archers. So I love that about Medieval Kingdoms, how the archers are actually pretty good in melee combat. I think that's a really nice addition to the mod. Then on my front line, I have I believe 8 units. I have a lot of them, like 8 or maybe 8. Yeah, like maybe even more of these heavy infantry units. They're not going to win any awards for being the best military, you know, melee unit out there. However, they're pretty decent. They can definitely hold their own against Havoc's heavy infantry, and they're not just going to get steamrolled by them. And they also have some pretty cool swords as well, as you can see right there. I love the hilt on the sword. It looks really cool. Then behind that, I have my most elite heavy infantry, the Anglo-Varnagoi, something like that. And I probably butchered that again. But yeah, these guys are really cool, just absolutely elite, heavy armored warriors ready to win the awards. You know, these guys might not win the awards, but these guys definitely will. They are really good, just armed to the teeth with two-handed weapons. Really cool. Really cool indeed. And I have like 6 or 7 of them, because I was expecting Havoc to go for a much more infantry-based build, and these guys would just cut through the enemy lines like they were butter. But unfortunately he did not, which kind of, you know, countered my army a little bit, but it is still fun nonetheless. Then behind that, I have my Epirus Lord back here, even having some Bretonnian colours on the covers for the horses to stop the armour from heating up. Then on my right flank, I have 3 units of these Germanic Knights. Now, this is one of the things which lets Epirus down. They only have 1 unit of shock cavalry, and it is these dismounted knights. And they just can't stand up to, say, the elite, you know, horsepower of Jerusalem and other major factions. So hopefully they get some more cavalry of their own, which can actually stand up to the enemy forces. Then I have like 6 units of spearmen, 2 on this flank or 3 on this flank. Again, these guys look really cool. And then on my other flank, I have the exact same, and just kind of one more spear emplacement right here. So that's my army. Then if we go over to Havoc's army, he's gone for, as I said, a much more split build. He's kind of split up his army into 3 components, leaving some halberds on the front line. Oh, they've actually updated some of the pictures as well, I guess, with the latest update, which is pretty cool. So yeah, on his front line, he has 2 units of these dismounted Knights Brothers. Again, just an amazing looking unit. Then behind that, he has like 5 units of archers, 2 units of crossbows. Then for his infantry on this right side, he has a military order swordsman, a really solid infantry unit. Then he has dismounted Crusader Knights. These guys like pike infantry, so they're going to be pretty hard from defeating from the front. Another unit of dismounted pike infantry. Then for his cavalry force, he has these Hospitaller Knights, some crusading men-at-arms, and then some more crusading men-at-arms right here. Then as we go back, he has more archers, which is just scary. He has 3 units of these handgunners. These guys are going to be an absolute pain in my backside. We obviously have his King of Jerusalem right here looking spectacular. I love his crown. That's really cool. Then on his right flank, he just has more cavalry, some horse archers. He has 4 units of horse archers and some more Lombard cavalry. That's kind of cool to see a different cavalry unit being used. I love these guys. These guys look really, really cool. I guess because they're melee cavalry, you don't really get to see them too much. But yeah, they look very cool. Haven't seen these guys before. And that's pretty much makes up his army. He has pretty much the same side on this, just more pikemen. So he does have a lot of pikemen, which is again pretty brutal for me. And then some more military order swordsmen. So as you can see, he's got a very interesting army indeed. We'll go on to normal speed and we'll start this battle off as Havoc goes and kicks it off by throwing his horse archers round my flank. And again, the horse archers in this game don't really do a ton of damage. They're just more of an annoyance more than anything else. You know, they're just going to shoot shots off, not really rack up many kills. You know, a lot of these arrows are going to be hitting the shields of my spearmen and my German knights. Like, not many of these arrows are going to be piercing the shields. You can already see a arrow lodged in there. But they're more just going to be an annoyance. They're not going to, you know, do tons of damage or anything like that. There's just something I'm going to have to keep an eye on. I'm moving my archers up because I want to get in range of these dismounted knights. You can already see my volley coming in. These guys don't have a lot of shield. Well, they don't have any shields. And they're going to be easy pickings for my archers. I'm going to change to heavy shot and just unleash everything I have to destroy them. Because, as you guys know, these dismounted knights are extremely expensive, and they're very, very good. This knight even getting an arrow in his shoulder, which is pretty gruesome. So Havoc, seeing that I have the range advantage, is going to be advancing his forces as fast as he can. He does want to get into melee combat as quickly as possible, or at least into his own range, his own range, to kind of volley back with his own crossbows, because I have archers whereas he has crossbows, so he wants to at least get closer enough to use his crossbows, because again, maybe getting into melee combat isn't ideal for him because he has focused a lot on his crossbows and his horse archers. But again, I am absolutely ripping apart this unit of dismounted Templars. You can already see they've lost over 25 soldiers, especially with this volley coming in. His crossbows are now in range though, and they're just going to unleash a hellstorm of archer fire back. And not actually racking up any kills, which is kind of upsetting, because I thought these crossbows would tear my infantry apart. So as you can see, that's why I'm moving up my own infantry. But really, I should have just sat back and used these archers, because the crossbows aren't really racking up too many kills. As well as this, you can see that, again, his horse archers are just shooting shot after shot. Actually tearing apart my own archers, which is not good for me. I'm going to have to try and, you know, throw him off with my cavalry, but again, he's just going to fall back, shoot shots, and it's just really difficult to catch these guys. I'm not going to be able to catch them. My only real, you know, ability to take these guys out was to use my archers, but he's just going to run away, and then I think he's going to get a good charge off. Is he going to charge? No, he's just going to sit in range and shoot me to pieces, which is extremely smart by him. The melee engagement has already kicked off. If we go back and have a look at this, you can see that my heavy infantry are up against his dismounted Templar Knights. These guys are extremely wounded, so it's going to be much easier for me to win this battle because my archers have whittled them down. If it was a proper fight and they were at full strength, there was no way that my infantry would win this day. As we go more and more down the battle line, this battle is so awesome. I love the SANDSTORM so much. You can see the military order swordsmen fighting hard against my heavy infantry. Their military order swordsmen will 100% win that fight if they get in a prolonged engagement. As well as that, you can see my men have just been slaughtered on the enemy pikes. Even though these aren't even super like intense pikes, they're only a couple inches, or not inches, but a couple foot in front of them. They're just not going to stand a chance. The pikes are just way too strong on this, and they routed all my heavy infantry. However, the battle is not lost yet. Even though I lost on that front line, I still have plenty of men in reinforcement to send. I have an entire battle line of my elite heavy infantry ready to find through these gaps, which I do exactly that. I push in heavy infantry onto the archers. I want to try and whittle these guys down as quickly as possible because he does have such a strong archer engagement. Then as we go back, you can see my Anglo-Voy up against his dismounted Templar Knights. And my Anglo-Voy are tearing them apart. I did make sure I stuck more chevrons onto my Anglo-Voy just to make them, you know, even that little bit better. And you can see they're definitely proving their worth here, tearing the dismounted Templar Knights apart. Again, over on this right flank, I've managed to get a unit behind enemy lines up against some military order swordsmen, and this is just a perfect unit to be fighting these guys. You can see we are actually going to rout them and send them back to whence they came. As we go more and more down the battle line, you can see I'm slowly trying to break through this pike formation, but it's so hard attacking it from the front. It really, really is. Ideally, what I could have done is I could have just stationed a unit in shield wall just in front of them to keep them looking at me, and then moved units round the flank. Havoc's going to go and try and protect his flank by putting these pikemen down here who are just going to slaughter my men in the side. Goddamn pikemen are so OP in Total War, much like they should be. You know, you do have to really play against them. Over on this right side, we have a huge engagement. We have my Anglo Void. We have Havoc's Lombard Knights. We have my own Germanic Mercenary Knights. All just going out it. And this is just, I love this weather so much. Havoc's going to be pushing his handgunners onto this side, which is just going to be so brutal. If we press K, you can see how many of my own units there. He's also going to get an amazing charge in the back of my shock cavalry with his Hospitaller Knights. That was an amazing charge by him, and that's going to be absolutely brutal. As well as that, look at all these gunners just unleashing hell. That sound will be enough to break me. And I've committed all my cavalry at this point. If we press K, you can see my archers are currently fighting his horse archers on this right flank. His like 6 or 7 units of cavalry are just overwhelming me, plus his horse archers. It's just a lot to deal with right now. Even though my knights might be winning in some of these situations, it's just going to be a long grind indeed, an extreme long grind. But these Crusader Knights look absolutely amazing, they really do. And if we go to proper cinematic mode and we just go down the battle line, we can watch this glory unfold. This was again maybe one of my major mistakes in this battle, was the fact that I had 2 units of my spearmen up against a unit of military order swordsmen. This is just such a slow grind. Like, my spearmen might win the day, but it's going to take them so long to do so that I could really use these spearmen elsewhere. So I should have just pulled these guys out. As well as this, along the pikemen, I lost so many men to these enemy pikemen. I really shouldn't have, which was a major mistake by me. I did, however, manage to win a pretty intense melee engagement. I did crush his center really effectively. So I'm rushing over my infantry as much as possible. We can see that my heavy infantry are running down the pikemen. They finally managed to break them, and I'm going to be extremely happy to take them out. The last standing point. This is the last major engagement. We do have another engagement on the left flank, but for now, this is just the major one. We have my Anglo Void fighting his archers, his crossbowmen. Here's some military order swordsmen here, and then obviously all the cavalry which are fighting in this battle right now. I'm pretty much situated in this battle, or this engagement, I should say. I'm going to be trying to move some of my infantry around the side, because I know I need to get onto these handgunners, but they're just going to be shooting and just devastating my infantry. And my heavy infantry are only just about going to make it to the enemy lines. And they are going to push back my heavy infantry, which was really unfortunate. This allowed for Havoc's, handgunners to again start shooting once more. And it is so brutal trying to run down these handgunners. As you can see, I did manage to win the melee engagement over here. The balance of power is slowly shifting in Havoc's favor. However, there's no way the battle is done yet. I still have some horses left. If I can push these horses onto these handgunners, I have my general as well. If I can get onto these handgunners, I can definitely win the day. My Anglo Void are charging into the flank of this one. I believe I also have another one. That one was kind of acting as a meat shield for these Anglo Void to get onto the handgunners, and they're going to absolutely cut them down. Havoc is going to meet me out though right here with his own horses and throw in his general. I am going to counter that with my own generals, charging in the back. I really see my only way of victory right now is to chase down his general and take it out. If I can kill the King of Jerusalem, then I can maybe win the day here. As well as that, I got some more Anglo-Void onto the handgunners, and this is going to be amazing for me. Taking care of these handgunners is just going to silence Havoc's, missile threat, even though he does have so much still left. As you can see, he has 4 units of archers over here. He has a ton of horses left, which is just going to be a real big problem. Still has all these archers as well. The handgunners are still shooting, even though I'm engaging them in melee combat, which I think is a bit of a bug maybe. They shouldn't still be shooting when I've engaged them. That just seems pretty strong. And the handgunners are actually doing pretty decent in melee combat as well. I was surprised seeing how many of my soldiers just having their heads chopped off. I was not expecting that whatsoever. We do manage to cut up 2 units of the handgunners, and the 3rd unit is soon to follow and be cleaned out from the battlefield. My spearmen are now in support as well. But yeah, but the fact that these guys are still shooting, I think, is pretty OP. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My voice was being really bad then. I had to take a quick break. As I said, my voice is extremely short at the moment, but we will persevere. I do manage to get a really nice charge onto Havoc's general and actually slay him. This is going to be the best chance of me actually claiming victory in this battle. Havoc still does have a huge skirmish component left in his army, which is going to be very scary for me to deal with. However, killing his general is going to give me a chance at claiming victory. I'm going to be pushing on. I want to use my general as best as I can. If I can get rid of maybe another unit of these horses, maybe if I can kill a unit of his knights, that will help turn the tide of battle in my favor. The only sad thing at the moment is just the sheer amount of skirmishers Havoc has left. He has these 2 units of horse archers. However, I do manage to rout an entire unit of Lombard cavalry right there, which is absolutely amazing for me. Looking back on this battle, I should have just left my general in this engagement. I think pulling him out just made me lose so many horses, which I didn't need to do as Havoc charged me down. If I would have stayed in this fight, I maybe would have not lost as many horses, and my spearmen could have turned the tide of this cavalry engagement in my favor. So you can see that my general is just taking so many casualties right now. The amount of archers are coming in. I have so much infantry left, but it's just not going to be able to deal with what Havoc has left on the battlefield. As you can see, his horses, he has a few units of infantry, but not really many, or not really a lot. And then just an absolute ton of cavalry and archers left. So I'm going to decide to go in for Wrath for Ruin in the World's End. I don't want to go out just by getting shot to pieces, and if this is to end in fire, then we shall all burn together. I am going to charge in for glory into Havoc's archers. One last epic charge. Havoc is going to then just turn all his archers in on killing my general, because he knows if he can break this, if he can kill my last unit of horses, I can't deal with him, and he can just sit back and shoot me to pieces. And there we go. My general is dead, and with his final blow, the battle is over. So we just got kind of out-skirmished in that engagement. Havoc plays a very different style of battle to a lot of other people. And you can see, look how many horses he had. He had an entire line of horses plus 3 more. And as well as that, look how many missiles he had. 2 gunners, 5 crossbows, and 5 archers. It was just really hard to deal with. And my army comp was just not designed to deal with that. So yeah, he definitely outplayed me in that. If we look at my Anglo-Void, look how many kills these bad boys got. They're just so good. They really are. You know, each of them getting over 100 kills at least, apart from this one unit. Really good. My German knights just weren't good enough to deal with his, superior, his knights. His, look at these Hospitaller Knights brothers just slaughtered. These Crusading Men-at-Arms did really well. Yeah, I feel like Epirus just needs more heavy cavalry, and then there'll be such a solid faction. So hopefully they do get that. Any of my heavy units do really well. My heavy infantry did do pretty good. My king doing 155 kills. I'm happy with that for sure. So hopefully you guys enjoy this battle, and massive apologies about my voice. Like I had to mute my mic a few times during that battle just because I needed to cough because my voice was just really bad. But hopefully you guys appreciate this, actually having a video, me powering through with my poor voice. So make sure to drop a like and a comment if you enjoyed this. Next week we should be back to normal with my voice. I should just be able to continue to pump out more videos for you guys, and obviously more campaign parts as well. So make sure to drop a like and a comment as I said, and I'll see you guys next time, and fish out.